This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Stick around to the end of the video for a special offer they're making available through my channel. Recently, I did an impressions video for BPM. I got a preview build of it. It was like a 20-minute demo that I ended up playing for 6 hours because of how much I loved it. I was very pumped for this title. I'm super happy to tell you that this title delivered exactly what I wanted it to deliver. And I absolutely love it, and I totally recommend that you should buy it. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video, you can go and check that out, but very quickly, the basics of this. BPM is a rhythm-based first-person shooter. You can only fire on the beat, you can only dodge on the beat, you can only reload on the beat. Your reload animations often have like 3 separate animations, and each of them must be done on the beat. It's all about the beat, right? You can jump off the beat. That's pretty much it, actually. Everything else needs to happen on the beat. If you are someone that has no rhythm whatsoever, there's a mode for you as well. It's called like auto rhythm or something. And at that point, you don't need to be firing or reloading or doing anything on the beat. You can just spam the mouse button, spam the reload button as whatever you like, and it'll just do its thing. It will still do those actions in time with the beat. So it sounds cool. It sounds satisfying. But you know, you're not really making that happen. You're just doing things. But look, if you need that assistance, it's available for you. I didn't use that. I played through the whole game multiple times without the auto rhythm enabled. The way it works is it's a roguelike. Okay, so there are actually 4 stages effectively, and they're divided in 2. So there's essentially 8 levels. The last level though is only a boss level. It's really, really quick. It's sort of just the final boss. You're essentially talking about 3.5, stages to get through. An average run takes me about 40 to 45 minutes. The intention is that you move through it, you get as far as you can, and then you die, and then you do it all over again. There's easy and hard mode. I found overall the game is quite tricky at first when you're getting to grips with it all, but then it does become quite a bit easier when you get used to the weapons, the enemy variety, and you really start getting your different builds rolling, which we'll come back to. Overall, I was able to finish the game on hard difficulty comfortably every time, or almost every time, I should say. So yeah, this is not super tricky unless you really struggle with the rhythm side of things, but as I said, you can just turn on that assisted mode anyway. In the preview build, I only got to sample a handful of weapons, and I can tell you there are a lot of weapons here now. There's a basic pistol, there's another pistol which has that like really satisfying 3-click reload animation, which I love. There's another pistol which is kind of like a hand cannon with this ton of boom to it. There is a shotgun, a sawed-off shotgun. There is a slug assault rifle. There's a fully automatic assault rifle. There is a minigun. There is a BFG, and there are 2 energy pistols, which I haven't even used yet because I just haven't found them yet. I haven't had them in a run. And this is a really important point, I think. I've put like 20 hours into this game now, and I finished it multiple times. Even then, there's still stuff for me to explore in terms of weapons that I've not yet fully utilized, weapons that I've not yet used at all, different items that I've only tinkered with. I really, really love this game, so I'm getting a lot more longevity out of it than a lot of other people will, I suspect. This is not like you play it for 3 hours and then you've seen absolutely everything and it's finished. I think to really extract the full value of this product, see everything, try every weapon, complete it on all difficulties, etc., you're looking at least, 20 to 25 hours of play, depending on how you want to do it. I think a critical part of that replayability factor are the different heroes that you use. I originally thought they were all the same when I was doing the preview. Turns out they're not. They all have different starting weapons. They have different starting stats. And so, for example, one of them will have, significantly less health when they start, but they'll start with a key, so they can unlock a chest sooner. Another one can fly, but he can't take any damage. Like, he will literally die the moment he gets hit. Another one will only use like powers. He will only use abilities and throw fireballs with his hands. He can't pick up any weapons. So there are 5 of these different heroes available. They all have a really nice mix of abilities and weapons and stats to keep things fresh. And the idea is to, complete the game on hard difficulty with each of those. I haven't done that yet. Still working through it. But just doing that has been really satisfying and rewarding, and has been a really nice sort of progression curve, because when you do finish the game with those heroes on normal or hard, it unlocks one of their native ability slots. So the next time you play with them, they start with either a secondary ability or an ultimate ability that does a huge effect. Something exciting. There's also some meta progression built into the game, so there are banks you can find throughout where you can drop off your coins if you're having a really good run, and then you could access those coins on another run if that run is proving to be more difficult and you need a bit of a top up. So there's that. Every time you spend money at the shop, it sort of has a loyalty card which gets stamped, and eventually you start unlocking more and more items at that shop. And same with the blacksmith. The more weapons you buy from a blacksmith, the more weapons become available in the future. I still haven't unlocked all of these vendors after, again, like 20 hours of play nearly. So there's still more to be done there, which is great. So as I said, this is a roguelike. You pick up different weapons each time, different abilities that you find around the map, and also different items. And there's quite a range of items. I was really impressed by that. At least, I'm gonna say 15 items. And they do provide you some really meaningful choices when it comes to a build, right? It is possible to build single target focus, where you do huge amounts of crit damage, crit multiplier, etc, etc. You can do an AoE focus build where you literally have an ability that will sweep across the map and just wipe out everyone. You have another one, a pair of boots that will literally just target enemies on the beat. Like every beat, they're just taking damage while you're in the room. There's like vamp damage where, every time you damage an enemy, you get healed, or you can suck life out of them and heal yourself. You can do these kind of sustain builds. You can do speed builds. You can do lots of stuff. I've very much enjoyed challenging myself as I've been playing to go in there and say, well, cool, I've played this before with this character. How about I try and do this time? This kind of weapon, this loadout. Let's see how that goes and how far can I make it. And yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable because those items are well designed and they work. Enemy variety is pretty good, not great though. There's a few of them, there's a fair number of them, but I think their behavior is quite simple and it doesn't really push you into uncomfortable places most of the time. I would say that there's a genuine criticism about, like how in-depth or challenging or sophisticated combat is. It's very much the kind of circle strafing combat that you remember from like Serious Sam days or whatever. You walk into a room, there are always big open spaces, and you can pretty safely just circle strafe around the entire time and avoid most of the projectiles, most of the damage, and kill everything, and that's fine. Now, there are a few enemies that will mess with that, some that have very intense tracking that will predict where you're gonna go, and if you circle strafe like that, they will kill you. Some of them which you need to kind of time when you shoot them because they have invulnerability windows. There's a few things like that, but on the whole, it's pretty sort of simple, repetitive combat. That's fine. A lot of people will bounce off the title because of that. Fair enough. For me personally, I just enjoyed the music and I enjoyed the rhythm and I enjoyed just the sheer pleasure of being in those spaces and just ripping and tearing in 4 times. So it didn't bother me, but I think if you are looking for a really sophisticated first-person shooter, this is not that. This is just simple, fun action to a beat, and that's it. In connection with that, I think there's definitely something to be said about how easy the game gets towards the later levels once your builds really start rolling. once you sort of pass the second or third level and you started to get some decent gear, you can pretty much tell how a run's going to go. And if you really get the items that you need, it's a bit of a cakewalk. If you don't, you'll still probably make it. But the game can become really easy, really fast if you get lucky. And again, some people, if you're looking for a very well-balanced roguelike that's going to continue to push you and challenge you, like, you know, Dead Cells or Risk of Rain or whatever, no, this is not that. Again, simple, just cathartic fun. The other big drawback is the filter. Now, so it's really red, as you're seeing. Their first level is really red, and then the second level is kind of really brownish green. Then the third level is really red, like even more red because it's the lava level. And then the final level is kind of just gray, black, something. I don't know why they have gone with this filter choice. You know, I saw in comments that there's a lot of reused assets in this game, by the way. A lot of people in this comment section are going to be like, oh, there's that character from Paragon or whatever, right? These guys are a new studio and it's like a couple of people, right? And I think they've taken a lot of assets, legally obtained them, and they're using them in this game. They haven't stolen them or anything. This is not an cheap asset flip game. It's just that they made it on a budget and they use existing assets. One of the theories that I heard was that because the assets are all kind of borrowed from elsewhere, they have to apply this filter to it to create a sense of visual cohesion. Otherwise they look really mismatched. I don't know if that's true. All I know is that it's really red and that sucks. And then it's really brown and it sucks, etc, etc. You can turn down the saturation in the settings. If you turn it all the way down, it just looks completely grayscale and equally bad. I found that putting it in the middle is probably the best bet. If it's really red, it actually creates a problem during combat because some of the enemies and projectiles, they all just kind of get mixed in. And in particular, there are shrines that are located around each room. And it's really hard to spot them because they just completely blend into the background when everything's got this red filter on it. So if you're going to play this, I probably recommend putting that saturation in kind of the midpoint where it does take out some of the glare, but it's not so gray that it just looks like you're a dog playing the game, because apparently they see in black and white. But yes, I will tell you that I played like nearly 20 hours of this. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so fun. Like, it's just, you know, I'm working on other things and I'm like, you know what? I need a break. And I play BPM for a while. It's like that game that I slot in between other games. I usually uninstall my games when I'm done reviewing them. I'm leaving this on my system just because, you know, there's all these like simple games doing the rounds right now, like Among Us and Fall Guys or whatever, games that are just simple and straightforward and fun. And if you wanted to pick apart this game and do a whole checklist of all the things that it gets wrong, it would be super easy to do that, okay? But it's fucking fun, man. It's fucking fun. I tell you that right now. It's like $20. I think it's actually on launch day. It's only $17 or something US. It's only on Steam. They've announced it for consoles next year. Not sure about Switch though, that's a question mark. I really recommend this to you. It's one of the most fun games I've played this year. I just love it, love it, love it. And hopefully you do as well. Thanks. This video is brought to you by friend of the channel, Squarespace, and if you haven't checked them out yet, then you totally should. Personally, I took what I love doing and was able to turn it into something I made money from, but I had YouTube to help me do that since I wanted to upload videos. But what if I wanted to sell custom art, or plants, or clothing, or exercise equipment, or whatever? For that, I'd need a website, and there's no better tool for building a website than Squarespace. Squarespace allows you to build a professional looking website in mere minutes. Using simple, intuitive tools, Squarespace removes all the hassle and lets you focus on your business or hobby or whatever it is you love. Even more advanced features like e-commerce and SEO are a breeze in Squarespace. To get started, visit squarespace.com, and when you're ready to get serious, visit squarespace.com/skillup for a 10% discount on your first purchase of a website or a domain name. Thanks Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching it. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye.